Ten Hag's Man United signings ranked as Andre Onana becomes latest flop to leave. Erik Ten Hag may well claim that he won trophies during his haphazard Manchester United stint. He will do well, though, to claim he nailed his recruitment. The Dutchman had just over 2 years at the helm and was allowed to spend over £600 million, but that couldn't make the Red Devils a title-fighting force once again. Instead, after a promising first year, he and his signings would only take the team backwards. It has left Ruben Amorim to inherit a squad that includes a number of players who haven't delivered on their big fees and are on hefty wages. The most damning reflection of Ten Hag's transfer business is that several of those he bought into the club are already being farmed out. Andre Onana is poised to be the next player who will be allowed to depart, albeit on loan. But a number of his teammates have already been deemed surplus to requirements and moved on. Ten Hag pushed hard for several of their signings, Antony being a case in point. The Dutchman prepared to spend $81 million to make the Brazilian his marquee signing when he first arrived. 2 years on, and he's already left for less than a third of his original fee. Amorim has spent the summer shelling out more than $200 million on his front line, adding the likes of Benjamin Sesko and Brian Mbeumo. That's despite fortunes already being spent on a squad that were among the lowest scorers in the Premier League last term. We take a look at all of Ten Hag's permanent signings and rank them, which paints a worrying picture for the state of United's recruitment. 1. Lisandro Martinez. In his debut season, the Argentine was able to prove a lot of the doubters wrong with his height, cited as a major issue for him, especially in England. Technically impressive, Martinez would win the World Cup within months of making the move from Ajax, where he'd worked with Ten Hag. Injury has deprived him of consistent football, but he's looked the most accomplished recent signing when given a decent run of games. 2. Leny Yoro. Partly on what he could go on to achieve, and despite some difficult moments, the French centre-half has largely looked pretty accomplished. He enjoyed a rapid rise in his homeland with Lille and earned plenty of plaudits. He's made himself a mainstay in the team, and with age of his side, looks as if he could blossom into an impressive defender. 3. Matthijs de Ligt. The fact Juventus and Bayern Munich moved him on was seen as a red flag, and the Dutch defender by no means looked like the player we saw at Ajax years ago, but he has begun to settle. He, like Yoro, has landed himself a regular starting spot this year and is perhaps only this high because of the failures of those below him. 4. Mason Mount. Had this been done before the start of the season, the ex-Chelsea man would be much lower, but he looks as if he may suit this Amorim system, having been given plenty of opportunity to begin the season. Mount has excelled in a similar-looking system with the Blues previously, and his creative instincts could help him play a major role in the final third, which he'll need to given his price tag. 5. Noussair Mazraoui. Mazraoui followed de Ligt from Bayern and is yet another player in the squad to have played under Ten Hag before he brought him to Manchester. The Moroccan has done little to overly impress, but he's been handed some tough assignments, including being played as a 10 against Fenerbahce. However, his relatively minimal fee means he is a loss the club can stomach. 6. Tyrell Malacia. Kind of a familiar story, the fullback joined early in the Ten Hag era, and whilst he's not lit it up, he's not done much wrong. That's largely owing to an injury record that has seen him spend more time on the sideline than on the pitch. Malacia only set the club back just over £14 million, and again, that is a loss that they can accept if the signing doesn't work out. 7. Manuel Ugarte. The Uruguayan played under Amorim at Sporting Lisbon, and it looked as if he may thrive once the Portuguese coach arrived, but that is not the case. His stats were impressive at PSG before he moved to United, but he's been unable to have the same impact. His aggressive style has not aided his ambitions, and he's found himself more on the bench than on the pitch to start the campaign. 8. Altay Bayindiri. He started all 3 Premier League games so far this season, but the Turk did make a major blunder that led to the loss on the opening weekend against Arsenal. Bayindiri did enjoy his best moment when the Red Devils knocked the Arsenal out of the FA Cup last year, but he's endured some embarrassing moments, including being beaten direct from a corner. But at just $4.3 million, he was hardly expected to change the world.